Hi, I'm Claudio.
And I'm Travis.
And we're part of Coheed and Cambria, and you're watching Rocknlive. Before the Sun, the meaning of it is, well, it's got two sides to it. Color being sort of a metaphor for art. I like to work before the sun comes up. I wake up pretty early, probably maybe 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's when I'm my most inspired, so that's usually when I'll start to create. So there's that, and then the other side is color sort of is sort of a metaphor for the emotions and sort of feelings that I had before my son was born. So it's got this kind of play, I guess, a little bit, like double meaning, but I think that's why I decided to name the record. It just had these two things that were pretty, that weighed a lot on just kind of me as a person. Well, somebody that was brought to our attention by our A&R Pete Jaberga, and you know, we thought, hey, you know, it sounded like a good idea. I mean, being in Nashville, maybe some of that energy would sort of spill into the record, but I think the real reason we chose it is we wanted to record this record live, and Jay was a big champion of that idea. So that's sort of why we did it. We went down there because, you know, we had never recorded a record properly, like live, and we just thought that he had the confidence in us to do that sort of thing. And so yeah, and that's why we chose it. And it was great. We recorded the record in 2 weeks. We mixed it in 2 weeks, which was, you know, pretty quick for us. Usually it takes us like about 2-3 months because we like to put everything sort of under the microscope. But you know, this record being sort of concept free, we wanted to allow sort of the blemishes to really create a certain type of character for the songs. And I think live it really helped echo that idea of the honesty that this record sort of poses. Decided, well, you know, when I got done writing the record and I looked at it in its entirety, it just felt, you know, it just felt different to me. Like, you know, there wasn't a concept on my mind when creating it. So it just, I don't know, it just felt like, because we've all sort of made these new sort of changes in our lives personally to become like parents and such, I just thought, well, why should our artistic lives be any different? And I think that's why we sort of removed the concept from the idea. It's just, you know, it's just sort of a new phase in what we do. You know, in the past, I've always liked to think that Coheed had never put any limitations on what we did. I mean, we always chose to go on tour with some sort of odd pairings, or even when it came to approaching the music, like trying not to create some sort of limitation onto what things we were going to do or explore. So we just kind of felt the concept, you know, why should the concept be any different? You know, why, you know, I think we can do a record without it, and, you know, and that's just sort of the, I guess, the frame of mind behind that. Well, 300 is a fairly new company. You know, the last record we did, we put out on our own imprint, and it was pretty successful. But this time around, you know, this record just has like a different there's something different about it, not just like musically, but just, I think the connection between ourselves and it, that we just thought, partnering with a company like 300 would make a lot of sense this time around. The A&R that I had mentioned earlier, Pete Jaberga, he was somebody that we wanted to work with back when we put out our third record. It just, I guess the circumstances didn't allow it, and now here was an opportunity too, because he works for 300. So, they just seemed like the right company to partner with at this time for this album. So yeah. I think we all had like mixed feelings about what was going to be the first track. You Got Spirit Kid was one of the last songs presented at, for the record, and I wasn't so sure it was right for the album, and so I kind of went to Travis and I also went to Josh and just kind of bounced off their ideas as to what do you think of this song? Is this worth putting on the record? Ultimately I guess it was. I mean, it's certainly got like a poppy sort of sense to it, something that's a little more universal than what we maybe have done in the past. But I think the sentiment is a tad spiteful, which it creates this cool, push and pull between lyrical content and music that I think we do pretty well, and we just thought maybe it made the most sense as the sort of introductory track on the record, at least to present to the public. So I don't know. I mean, do you have any?
No, it was like a mutual agreement in the end. I mean, it's not like we weren't thinking about a lot what song it could be, but I guess we all just agreed to roll out the rug with that song was the best idea.
Well, a little bit. Like it's when I started writing the record, I was living in Brooklyn, New York, and city living was very new for me. The house that I actually have in the country is more secluded and it's very private. But my wife and I, we decided, okay, well, we're gonna move into Manhattan and just try that out before we decided to become parents. And I think some of that like city living and exposure really leaked into the songs and the so in that respect it was kind of different because I wasn't so sure I was writing a Coheed and Cambria record. I was just writing music in the environment I was in, and so I think it just naturally just kind of became a little more exposed. But in that respect, that was what made it sort of different. Like I just normally when I'm writing a Coheed album, I kind of know that I'm doing that. Whereas this time around, I didn't feel that same like comfort. So in that respect, it was a bit different. Yeah, I mean, I think we're hoping for something early next year. The record will come out in October. We have small tours that we're doing across the states and like some secondary markets. But then I think the start of next year is when we're really gonna start supporting The Color Before the Sun. So probably early next year. I mean, I think we just try to figure out what makes sense for the moment. For example, like some of these Never Ender shows, they were very specific. They were very much like we would do a record in its entirety. Whereas most of the time, it's usually, we'll pick a few songs that are the obvious staples, and then sort of cater around those. What makes sense, songs that maybe we haven't played in a while that need, call for some reintroduction, or we just try to make a nice rounded set of everything that we do. To try to make everyone sort of happy. Fans that are fans of the progressive side of what we do, fans of the heavier side, fans of the poppier side. I mean, we just try to incorporate all of those factors of what we do into a set just to kind of please everybody. I mean, Coheed, it's something that not a lot of people know about, but Coheed has roots in Paris. In '98 when I took a trip here, it's where I created the band name. It's where I created the idea, the concept. It's a very important place. We always find ourselves kind of coming back to Paris for some inspiration. And, certainly on the last record, The Afterman, some of that leaked into the conceptual side of what we do. I mean, there's a strong shadow that sort of like lives in the Coheed DNA, and Paris is a big part of that. The city is I think very important to sort of like the creative aspects of what we do, as well as like the conceptual parts of what we do. So